Hello and welcome. This is Ultimate League. It is the first ever Irish Grand Prix at the Cuernablan circuit. Should be absolutely incredible. It's a very high speed track. It goes crossing over one of few tracks in Ultimate League to do that. Parc Monte Castelloli was a previous one. And yeah, based in the town of Blarney in County Cork. A little bit more built up perhaps than that town, but the famous old castle just a few hundred yards outside. Oopsie daisies, a bit of lag. Let's hope that doesn't prevail. It should be an absolute banger. I'm joined by basically no one, but Juan is free to chip in if he wants to. Hernandi on provisional pole position. Serena Nuno, who is just Nuno, is in second.
That's an LSA 1-2, and then there's Figuera in third, or provisional third, which is extremely good for him. Extremely impressive.
Yes, it is. He got his first podium last time out, or so they tell me. The results haven't been posted yet. We see the times just changing up a little bit. Girouni improves up to 10th place as Atti ahead of him. Danometer Matimar on for a good qualifying. 7th place start as it stands. Kraft from Figo, Serenino, JT bringing the heat, and Corvid pipping Hernandi to provisional pole by 100th of a second.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, great. Should be interesting to see as they come across the line for the very last time in this qualifying session. It might just be Kraft in the Scuderia Paracaro out of basically nowhere, but he has absolutely gone and put it on pole position. Phenomenal for the Flying Finn. This is great. Juan, I'll send you to do a little stat check on Kraft qualifying. Has he taken pole before? Probably has, but
I don't know about that actually.
check the standings. Come back to me on that. Corvid takes the front row alongside him. Hernandi just behind him. JT and then Serena Nuno. Figo up in 6th place. Great qualifying for the Neon Sunsets. Figo's hands are shaking, bruh, according to him. But 6-9 for them. Girouni 7th. Danometer 8th. And Anti 10th. X610 starts 11th in his return this season. Sorry, Figo. In his return this season with FGR. Great to see him back on the grid. Rozim starts 12th ahead of Gorlomi in 13th for the Lynx team. 4 positions ahead of the team owner and teammate Euros starting 17th. Grandi takes P14, Rams P15, Serena Noms only 16th, just ahead of his countryman. Ruski will start from the back of the grid. So all around, Girouni definitely a winner of qualifying. Let's see if he can get back on form. He finished 7th in the feature race earlier today in Challenge League. Go on, Juan.
I could be wrong on Kraft, by the way, but he has, as far as I can tell, he did get a pole position back in season 13, but that is a while ago.
Fair enough. Which track
So
was
he
that?
has gone. So it's been a season and a half at least, probably 2 seasons since he had one.
Interesting.
So yeah.
So he's a very fast driver, young Kraft. Yes, it looks like he took pole position at round 9 in season 13. That was, of course, and unforgettably, the Vancouver Grand Prix. So he quite likes my tracks. That is a common theme there. But Corbin on the
he has a
front row.
point in it.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah,
Great
he's
tracks.
always really fast and relatively consistent. Just always so close to that win, but never quite got it so far.
That's true.
Who
Second
knows?
place.
Maybe this is the one.
It could be. Second place, definitely his best finish thus far in Ultimate League. Of course, at that aforementioned Vancouver race, he took second place, I believe. And then, of course,
As well as last time out in Ring,
he very much did.
where he was so close to the win.
But now
But
the driver's focus
place.
on the lights. And we're underway for the Irish Grand Prix. Corvid slow off the line with that ping. Hernandi goes to the outside of Kraft. Can he get him? Coming into the turn 1 and 2. JT there, the driver's ghost as they go through the overpass there. And by the time, or the underpass rather, by the time they get out of that, the SCPs have gone way back. Danometer into the grass. Matimar into the wall. A tricky start for the drivers in the mid-pack. And Serena Nuno X6, a big loser out off that. He's right fallen into that pack. Kraft still just behind his teammate. There's going to be a little bit of a messy section, especially this pack of cars. Rams and X6, the FGRs struggling through it. Ruski and Matty there as well. Razim, Cado, Grandi and Noms out front. A massive breakaway for Figo and Hernandi. Figo in that beautiful new Neon Sunset Racing livery. The first time, I believe, that he's raced for the team that he now owns. Or maybe second time, that's right, after Amazonia. Great new livery for him and a great results that have come from it so far. Figo around the outside on the hards versus Hernandi. Softs gets him at that final corner. Hernandi barges his way back past going into turn 1. Corvid just caught a little bit of the old Irish charm on the outside there and took a bit of slowdown. Serena Nuno and Kraft and Rain on the way in a big lag rocket. That's going to be huge between Kraft and Jeru. Jesus. Crikey alive. They just about stayed out in front of that following pack. Jeru battling X6, but they certainly lost time on the drivers ahead of them. A good start for Antti. He's up in 4th position. He's into the pit lane. The drivers who are into the pit lane, Corvid was the first of them. Antti, subsequently, Gorlomi is in there as well. So is Danny, Kraft, Eurus, X6, Rozim, Sereninoms, Grandi, and Rams. But we do have the top 7 having stayed out. Figo and Hernandi battling through that top right corner hairpin. Both on their slicks, not giving them too much grip. They're going to, just get a little bit nasty through here, but actually sort of more like synchronized swimming as they get through there because they do just about keep it nice and squeaky clean. JT and Jeru, this is all causing big issues for the drivers behind here. Jeru into the pit lane now, and JT, that was very predictable, drags Antti into the pit entry. X6 comes flying in, squeezes between Finn and Wall. Roz and Eurus battling into turn 1. That's over 10th position. Interesting to see those drivers there. Serennom's up a few spots, and certainly those who took that late pit stop have really paid the consequences of it. It's Corvid and Figo there. Hernandi actually had decent enough pace.
Corvid did get
in-lap.
the undercut then.
Yes.
His pitting early did put him ahead of that leading pack, and crucially on that lap on slicks in wet conditions, Figo did manage to squeeze past Hernandi again, putting him back up in 2nd.
Absolutely. So yeah, the front 2, as they were, had enough of a gap that they've come out still in those podium running positions, but not quite in the lead anymore. That now belongs to the FLF driver of Corvid. A big blow to the FLF team this week. Have their one of their star drivers, the man who looked to really contend for the championship early in the season, Sexy Digger, announcing his official retirement for now from the sport. Juan, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that actually.
It's really just a shame. There's nothing more that can be said about it. The first half of the season so good, and then real life just came into it. And at least it's good on 6-5 making the decision to make his priorities.
Most
But
certainly
it is a real shame because that could very well have been a championship run this season or next season.
Absolutely.
That has not happened.
A lot of potential and a lot of pace did that guy have. Matty takes Grandi onto the grass. That allows Rams in. Matty actually goes into the pit lane. So is Nuno. So is X6. So was Hernandi. Those 4 drivers are our only to pit so far. But we have a few more. Jeru, who's fallen right back down the pack. It was the lag rocket initially before the staying out in the rain. He always seems to get that call wrong. And then his teammate just a couple positions behind him now. JT all the way down in 17th, having been up in that very front pack on lap 1. Disappointing that. Meanwhile, our race leaders in earnest are pitting. It's Corvid, then Figo, Danny and Kraft. Gorlomi in 5th. Brilliant position for him to be in. Not a very experienced man in the realms of Ultimate League. Would this be his debut?
No. I don't think it's his debut, but it is really impressive considering I don't recall him saying a lot about being prepared. I didn't really see him in the simulator all too much in his CL drive in VLP, so...
No, not his debut. He made a few races last season, but I think probably his 5th race in Ultimate League as far as it looks for me, and his first of this season. And a great showing from him so far. He's now in 8th position. He's on that hard compound tower, and X6 as well. In his return to the league, he's already done a few races this season. Took his first top 10 coming back. First top 10 of his career, actually. Always talked about as one of the best drivers in the history of Ultimate League. Never to get that top 10 finish. Certainly does have one now, and he's going to look to build on that as we progress through the season. Should be great to see. And Andy leads from Corvid, then Figo. Juan, I'll take your thoughts at this early stage.
Well, crucially, Hernandez also on the harder tires, so really, if he can just stay with that pack, that means he's also getting ahead because he will just get a tire advantage later on. So he's in a really, really good position right now. But Figo does not like that, it seems.
He doesn't. Corvid slightly drops from that pack, and I think will drop a little bit more now. We've got then this pack behind Nuno, Kraft, and Danny, soft, medium, and hard in that order. All of them, apart from Nuno, there setting their respective PBs on lap 11. Gorlomi versus X6, still that fight over 7th position. Great to see those drivers in that position. Genuinely, really, really lovely. Anti now in 9th. He was up in 4th earlier, but the rain has shaken things out and shaken a bad hand for him. Shook, maybe. Rosim, Matty just sending it up the inside. Will just stay behind a little bit. He advised drivers before the race not to use their brakes, but he did do so there just about. Rams leads this train of Nomska, or Serenanoms as he is for this race. Urist, and then JT behind, looking at his charge back through the field. Charged quite literally. Will he get a move going here on the likes of Urist, who may be a driver he considers to not be in his sort of pace bracket as he looks to climb back towards the front? He's a patient man, Joseph. He is a level-headed person, both in how he acts on and off the track, so you'll have to wait and see how he'll make this sort of cutting thing back through the track. It is really what will prove your greatness for the man who took his first podium this season last time out at Amazonia Park. Danny, Kraft, Nuno, Corvid, Hernandi, and Figo is your top 6. One.
Where you can also look at the tires, which a lot of hard tires here. Seems a lot of these teams think degradation is very, very severe. And then 2 people on the mediums. That's Graf and Noms, who Graf is of course slipping as a driver on softs in Nuno, which he will be quite happy about. That's definitely going to give him a few seconds at the end of this race. The animator also in that train, just happily taking the slipstream, getting some extra tenths faster than the hards would go on their own, which he will be quite happy about.
Nuno in. Off the
Where does he come
softs,
out, Des?
onto the hards. Yeah, well, Gorlomi will go through on Nuno, which is something I think he'd be quite pleased about hearing if you told him that before the race. Just ahead of Corvid, actually. Interesting. So Corvid was really quite bogged down, having come in. He was part of that top 3, came in for the mediums. He now finds himself behind Nuno, who's very much removed from that podium running pack. And he's going to have to fight his way back through. Nuno will just let him through there. He is not a man that's easy to fight wheel to wheel. The tenacity of the Aussie there. Razim round the outside of X6. Interesting pit entry there, because obviously you want to go wide at that penultimate turn to take the pit entry, but also you can make an overtake there if you really go for it. Juan, I'll hand over to you for a second.
Yeah, of course. Now there's also the battle between those Nuno and Corv going through back on the relatively worn tires, so that's not ideal for them. That's gonna have cost them some time. Now X6 just slipping anti. I don't know if he has a tire advantage.
Oh, we'll have a look, yeah.
But he did lose.
Dire disadvantage, actually.
Yeah, he
X6.
had a disadvantage taking that slip to mitigate that a little, but he has sadly lost it. And now he has his teammate behind, closing in on a lap or 2 fresher tires, but that gap is not really changing, it seems.
Yeah, new look for
Meanwhile,
FPR this weekend, isn't it? With that livery. Dark Fox X3. Pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's
Definitely
very much
a pretty cool livery.
It's a cool back, in a sense. When you look at this lineup, people have been around for long enough since the start of these videos. I remember very much Season 8 being the season Rams and X6, you'd see them most often, particularly in the second half of that season. To see them back 7 seasons later, just really lovely. And Andy in.
He was well in the lead before he came in now. Drops down to P3. But of course, the people ahead of him both have yet to pit.
Well, Figo can go a while
Figo
more on
on
those softs.
lightly worn soft, so it is very well possible for Figo to come out ahead of Andy if he pulls out one hell of a stint right now.
He has been a different animal since he took over that Neon Sunset Racing team. Kubo, I'm being informed, is backstage on the LSA pit wall. So I see where his priorities lie right after selling off his old team. But Danovator in second place, just a little bit back. He was trying to get into the
Yeah,
slipstream.
he has let Figo past because, of course, on those kind of sours, there's not
Yeah,
really much point going for that battle. But he has crucially not caught onto that slipstream, so he will be
going in.
hitting right now and hoping to get some clean air when he comes out.
He
And we got
certainly.
the LSAs once again in their lovely little trains. They're quite known for doing that stuff. But on the hard tires, so not that much of an advantage to be gained by either of them. But I do believe Hanani's on relatively fresh tires.
Yes, we'll have a look.
Nuno's are slightly more worn.
Quite considerably more worn for Nuno's than it is for Hernandez. He's not got too much on those. Gorlomi's into the pit lane. He was ahead of both of the LSA drivers, and he's now going to. Oh. Oh dear.
That's not ideal.
Oh dear.
That looks like some sort of engine failure or mechanical
Links
failure on the links.
He's
We'll have
parked
to
it in the
invest.
Lynx pit box. They're taking him back into the garage, and that is effectively the end of his race. And that is incredibly sad because he DNF'd both races in Challenger League. But with the performance that he was having in this race, you'd think even with some sort of bumps and scrapes, you get to the end of the race, you'd take home a great result. But this is really sad to see. Maybe he's had to go for other reasons, but I really hope that that isn't a quit out of choice, because that is really, really sad to see. Fantastic pace
He
from the
was
Italian,
running. He was running for what probably would have been his best finish, but
no doubt.
we'll have to see what happened there after the race.
We
For now,
will.
we have a battle, just an LSA train, and Figo dropped a good bit behind by pitting now,
Yes.
but he has fresher tires, so might be able to catch on to them again.
5 seconds is the gap, and remember, this is the third to last race for Nuno in LSA, and that is also quite something. It almost feels like an end of an era, despite the fact that era was only two races. Two races, 2 seasons. But it was always a dream of his ever since he got approached by a certain Russian back in season 5 of Ultimate League, Sunday League as it was called then, to join this historic LSA team. It's the Hamilton to Ferrari move of a generation. It is the most famous driver joining the most famous team. But now their time together is coming to an end, and Nuno, I think, will hope to take at least one or two more race wins. He's taken it more relaxed for this end of the season.
Yeah.
As he heads off into a nice little break or retirement, but he's going to hope to win this, potentially.
Of course, that's not the only change happening at LSA with a wildly rumored ownership change coming on there. So
Yeah.
whoever is taking that over, or more importantly, the current owner left, he will be very happy to go out with a bang like this, which a 1-2 would definitely provide.
They can actually almost guarantee themselves the team's championship this week with a 1-2. I think it would be very, very difficult to see them getting caught from there. It would extend their advantage to nigh on 100 points, which is mathematically, I believe 112 is the most you can make up on a team in 2 race weekends. So with just 2 rounds of the season left, it is possible for them to be crowned champions today. We won't know that until after the race, but maybe Juan, if you can keep a little eye on the calculations, what a 1-2 plus fastest lap would need FLF to finish and SCP to finish in order to guarantee LSA that 113 point gap. It would have to be quite something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, then it's possible. Regardless, if they don't do it now, it's more than likely they would finish it off next week,
Oh, for
which
sure.
would be in style under the lights in Bugatti. But
Hmm. That will be an amazing race next week. First um, intentionally dry race in Ultimate League since Season 4 finale. Nomskar didn't win that race. He actually finished second on the final lap. Sobel overtook him, but he did win a championship there. Not sure he's going to win the championship next week, but stranger things have
that
happened.
would be quite unlikely.
It would be quite unlikely considering he's got 26 points to his name. But, again, strange things have happened. I think someone's just hit a wall there. Maybe Jeru?
That might be some issues with the broadcasting too, but
Maybe.
it doesn't look like it.
No, maybe not.
That would be unfortunate.
It
Dropping all the way to
certainly
the
would.
last of them.
Figuera, meanwhile, we'll do a little tyre check-in. Hernandy's on the old hards. Figuera on the fresher hards. So Hernandy will go in. Figo's making up this time on him as it stands on this 31st lap of the race. Danny on relatively worn hards. Interestingly enough, Nuno on much fresher hards. So the top four all on varying degrees of hard tyre condition, but all having that as their poison. Hernandy into the pit lane. He will just about lead that 31st lap of the race.
We're
But
in the
Figo
lead.
leads after.
And I think Hernandy's pick of soft tires
Ooh,
will
interesting.
be enough to that at the end of this stint, him and Figo will not be too far apart on
This
their
should be
pit windows.
fascinating.
Both of them should probably be coming in one more time and then going straight for the line. So probably both of them coming in for softer tires around lap 40 or so.
I think this will be
Unless,
amazing
of
to see.
course. So if that's true, then we're bound to have a very, very fun final stint to watch. Unless, of course, rain comes into play, which at this time would massively benefit Figo.
Yes, most certainly. I think Nuno and Hernandi could find themselves on a pretty similar in time. Nuno will probably take those hards for a good few more laps now, and obviously that whole soft stint for Hernandi. He's having a go at Danny. Danny does let him through. These two have fought actually tooth and nail for wins since basically season 9, really. Danimator and Hernandi, two big drivers in that season. Gamer ended up taking the title, but both these drivers also won races. Danny in Baku and Hernandi in Greece. And they're still fighting it out here 6 seasons later. Danny, really lovely to see him on the grid. He's missed sporadic races this season, but has actually, this will be his 6th out of 8, so not too bad. Nomskar also back on the grid, and that's great to see. We don't actually know, I can check here. Yes, it is Nuno with the fastest lap. Noms is 14th, but with the Serenin in the top right-hand corner, drivers will not really have that information as to who has the fastest lap. So Nuno will just have to hope that it's him. I'm sure LSA have enough resources to be able to tell their...
I mean, Nuno can see his own fastest lap.
That's a really good point, yeah. That's a very
However,
good point.
he's not certain. Him and Noms, it wouldn't be impossible for them to set an identical lap time.
That's true. Figo into the pit lane, onto the hard compound tyre. And this is interesting. So now Nuno has let Hernandi pass. Again, I still feel they will be in on a pretty similar lap. Hernandi's softs are starting to go a little bit. He's going to keep Nuno in his slipstream. And I could actually see Hernandi slowing down just a little bit over what he could potentially be doing in terms of lap time. Because he doesn't really want to shake Nuno here. It is obviously optimal for the team for them to take that 1-2 over Figo. So the more pace that Hernandi can lend his teammate, the less of an inroad Figo will be able to make as Kraft also comes into the pit lane.
Now, the real question is how close can Figo get? Because once Hernandi and Nuno pit again, presumably once the softs wear out, they're going to swap around and get the pace of the harder tires. Once those are faster, and then both of them, it won't be long before they both come in for their final stop, and then they will be on softer tires but behind Figuera, so they're gonna have to hope to catch up and then also get past with hopefully still a tire advantage, but that's not gonna be an easy job for them.
No. We can see here,
Figuera,
Kraft just a little behind Corvid now. He's on the hards and Corvid on the hards. Danny Slightly more worn out tyres than Crafts, who's just come in. You can see now Hernandi and Nuno, this may be their last hurrah on these sets of tyres. They're getting pretty worn out. Figo, oh, there's Matty. Not quite sure what
Having
he's
some
doing.
issues.
Yeah, having some issues, let's say. He managed to cross the river that lays the middle of the track, splits it in two, with the two bridges going over it. Rozim into the pit lane. Go
A
on, Ron.
creative racing line, we'll call it.
Yes, that's a good way of saying it. They go in at the same time. No overcuts, undercuts, or wobbling free from the LSAs. Two softs to the end, coordinated like clockwork. Go those Belarusian-owned cars, and Belarusian-owned not for very much longer, like you say. Nuno's third to last race, also Levy's third to last race. But I'm sure, obviously, with massive protests, if not, that the team name and colour will be kept as part of its history. Figo leads by 2.6
More than
seconds.
likely, whoever
You'd think,
changes
yeah.
the name will get a whole lot of backlash.
It'd be like taking the Williams out of Formula One. It's just not really something you can do. But Serena Nuno ahead of Hernandi. These two drivers now on course to catch Figo. Figo will be looking at that lap counter. He'll be praying that we have a server crash, just like we did last time out, because that would hand him the win.
Would help him. Or some rain, that would also equalize the field on tires, but if not for that, the people behind him are catching very rapidly.
Yes.
They're taking out at least half a second. They're 2 seconds behind. 6 laps to go. They need a third of a second every lap.
That will be
plus
quite...
whatever they need to actually get past, because of course there's still a car there.
Yes, there is still a car there. That's a good thing to remember, because sometimes people forget that.
However, they will have a massive tire advantage once they do be on track, and
they're really closing in. Figo may have to say goodbye to this lead, barring some late rain in which he'd still have to win it under his own guise. He can see those two red cars sitting behind him, tucked in one another. Figo in the neon sunset car, the owner driver as he is now, took his first ever podium last time out at Amazonia Park. But as he sees these cars larger and larger in those purple wing mirrors, surely he will be coming under pressure. 4 laps left to go in this.
And that is Nuno in the slip.
Irish Grand Prix. Hernandi just behind his teammate Nuno, like you said, in the slipstream, goes slightly deep into that corner. Hernandi has half a look up the inside. Nuno is not trying to rush any move, but he does hit the wall. Ooh. I think he might have been slightly bumped by his teammate, or he took a bad line. Hernandi really going for it. Absolutely sends it up the inside of Figo. No nonsense move there. And he will take the lead of the race. It's a 1-3 for LSA. The car's no longer flying formation as they were earlier on in the race. Figo is still in this back. Will he go for the lead back? Surely he will. Into turn 1. He goes side by side with Anandi. They go now into the very fast, flat out nearly chicane of the right and left handers coming through turns 3 and 4. Figo still in the slipstream and he's keeping it really, really well here. He's able to just keep it through these high speed corners. He has half a look at Hernandi, but then slightly gets bumped. Nuno though gets the run over the bridge, and by the time we get to the braking zone, to this very traction dependent area of the track, Figo has lost the slipstream. It's side by side for the LSAs as they go 1 and 2 here. Nuno up the inside of Hernandi. Remember, these drivers are tied on points in the World Drivers' Championship. Whoever wins here will take it, but Figo goes back at them. He goes for a move on Hernandi. The LSAs need to sort out their own issues, otherwise Figo may just end up taking the victory here. Whichever one of these cars ends out ahead here will lead the championship with just 2 rounds to go. As it is in this Irish Grand Prix, there is 1 lap left to go as they lap Nomscar. Figo though gets slightly pushed aside as they come over the start-finish straight. Hernandi gets a great run, but Figo is still in this. They go pretty much side by side. Figo takes the lead. Incredible to see here into the fast left-hander. He needs to hold it for just a few more corners. Go on, son, as they go through the hairpin, over the bridge he goes. This will be the deciding corners for this Grand Prix. He keeps it, and Andy and Nuno side by side, but for the first time in his career, Figo wins the Irish Grand Prix. Nuno takes second in the end, and the man, the Japanese Portuguese driver who looked all but done for with a few laps left on the counter, came back and took it to the biggest team in the history of the sport and beat the both of them. Incredible driving. Unbelievable finish to this race. To recap, we have the podium of Figo, Nuno and Hernandi. Danameter took fourth in the end, ahead of Kraft, who was a couple seconds clear of Corvid. JT, then Antti, Rozim, then Matti took the top 10. X6 just outside of it. Noms took 12th, then Rams, Grandi, Gironi is just coming home in 15th place. He'll be ahead of Eurus and Ruskis, battling side by side as they go. Will Eurus go for one last move up the inside? Yeah, he gets cut off there. He'll finish 17th place, 17th and 18th for the Lynx drivers. I'm out of breath. Juan, I'd like your perspective on that, please.
That's really just... He had a massive tire disadvantage, but once you just decide that nothing matters and you just send it, and then the LSAs seem very preoccupied with battling each other, and he saw a chance and he took it, and that is maybe the best drive I have seen in my entire
Let's
time on
go!
this game.
Oh, wow.
Figo, are you here?
Yeah, we're going straight to interviews.
Yes, I am here.
Figo, give us your raw emotions. You have just won your first ever Ultimate League race.
Right. Yes. Oh my god, man.
Did you
I'm
think that's
just so
going to
happy.
happen?
I thought, because I saw Hernandi was ahead, and my strat was just to go on the hards in the final stint, and I know they had the softs, but I'm sure that I'd be able to somewhat fight them as they came close to me. And, you know, I don't know what happened. I think that Hernandi and Nuno had some kind of crash getting into like the walled chicane, and I managed to get ahead. And wow, I'm just so happy right now. I did not expect to get a win. I said two interviews ago, I was aiming for, you know, a podium next season, a win next season, and it's come 2 races later. I cannot be happier.
Wow. You took the fastest lap tied with Nuno.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. How's that going to be split? Just,
I actually don't remember, but I'm sure that you'll get
I
at least
think
something
you
for
both
it.
get
You
the
both
full
get the
points.
point. I believe that's
I
right.
think they both get a point each.
That's right. So that will be the full shebang of 31 points for you and for Neon Sunset. God, that's absolutely incredible, man. Well done. Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Amazing performance from Neon Sunset.
As has been flagged up in the driver radio chat, I'm not sure if that means that Figueira has an instant ban from Challenger League, which would definitely shake up the championship over
He
there.
already...
We'll focus on it later.
Don't worry, I can carry it.
Fairly certain he...
Okay, let me say, Charge CT did not get instantly banned from CL, right?
Yeah, he will. That's next season.
He still raced round 9 and 10 of CL season.
True that.
That's
Yeah.
next season, which we already knew once he got a podium. And of course, drives like this, it shows you why.
Of course. We're going to keep it on topic here and go to interviews. Nuno, right at the end, it looked like it was yours, but lots of battling with Hernandi, and it wasn't quite in the end.
Yeah, I don't care much. It was actually a very fun race. Although that start, Jesus Christ, it was terrible. I feel like the ghosting on that first part of the intersection was a bit chaotic because I had no way to go, but then I literally have no way to go. I was getting pushed from behind, and I think ended up killing Danny on the inside. I didn't even Matty on the outside. It was just pure chaos. I dropped a few positions because I didn't got undercutted by staying out on that first rain. But then I got another cut when it got dry again, and it was quite a good recovery actually. It was really fun. And yeah, in the end, it was quite a good battle there with Figo and Hernandi. I feel like the mistake was going for the move on Hernandi in turn 1. as Figo was already behind, and I kind of was a bit stupid there. But yeah, it was a good race. GG's to Figo. I think he deserves the win, starting on a big high. And yeah, let's see how we go in Bugatti next week.
Next win, foreshadowing. Oh man, yeah. No, it looked like a really great race. I'll get Hanandi in here as well. Yeah, really close between you guys at the end, and it looked like the sort of just a slight time loss that meant that Figo was able to creep back through for that Hollywood win.
Yeah. It was crazy, honestly. He deserves it. That slight communication issue between me and Nuno caused him to get back into slipstream. I mean, it's both our fault, really. But honestly, we did really well. Again, double podium.
Yeah, and I think that means that Nuno now edges a few points ahead of you in the championship. Are you going to miss any of the final couple races, or can we expect a
For sure
championship
not.
fight
We'll see.
before we see a title fight right down to the wire?
I hope so.
That would be very fun indeed. Well, I wish you the
Yeah,
best of luck.
edging.
Will it be the
Thanks.
7-time world champion? Will it be the first-time world champion? We'll have to wait and see. Echoes of real life Formula One there. And then also, I'd love to go to Danny, if you'd like to give an interview. Went a little bit under the radar with our crazy finish, but 4th place in the end, a very solid result for you and Mayhem.
Yeah, finally a little bit closer to the podium. It wasn't the podium, but I mean, Figo taking the only remaining spot next to the LSAs. Not only that, but also the win is great, awesome. I kind of was lucky that the rain came early, and which kind of created some gaps in the field, which made surviving the first few laps easier, which always has been the issue for me the last few races. And then I just went for a crazy hard strat with long stints, and to just don't have anybody who can crash me into the walls, and slipping a little bit. Kraft was great to slip, and we worked together. So, and in the end, it was a very lonely race, but yeah, I was trying to kind of catch a glimpse of what's going on ahead of me. But yeah, it was great.
It sounds absolutely fantastic, mate. Well done. There were a few rumours that I heard creeping around the paddock about the future ownership of the Mayhem team. Do you care to comment on those?
No comment at this point.
Okay. I guess I'll have to wait and see.
Room office is doing its job, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Very much so. They're always accurate, aren't they? And finally, actually, I may just go to Matima. It was top 10 for you, and obviously the win for your teammate as well. Must be a great day for you in Neon Sunset.
Yeah, pretty good race, I guess. I had a really unlucky start when, after some kind of lag rocket with Nuno, I fell to like last positions. And then I talk about the funny situation that occurred. Into the turn 1 there was Jurist, me, and 2 other cars. I was on the outside of the straight. I saw that Jurist is going for a lag rocket, so I said screw it. I put my car 90 degrees sideways for no reason. I still don't know why. I passed them somehow, and ended
Fair
up
enough.
like half a second. I ended up with like half a second advantage. So yeah, this was crazy.
Was going for a lag
That-
rocket is an interesting phrase to use in a publicly broadcast interview, but we'll let that slide.
So yeah, this was funny, and then I kept the pretty nice pace. Of course, X6 slipping me for the whole time and not battling helped me a lot. So I appreciate you a lot, mate, and I would like to thank you.
It sounds
in
great,
the end, but sadly there was an unfortunate incident that I got lost and wasn't able to then recatch him.
I
But
see.
yeah, P10 is a pretty solid race, a pretty solid lead for this kind of a comeback race again.
I'd love
because
to also just
I'm-
bring Kubo in here as well.
Because I'm never picking the correct strat. and I would like to thank everyone that appreciates and supports me, especially the whole Ricardo NSR team, especially Kubo, Figo, Guzzi, and X6. And yeah, I'm really happy about Figo Era winning, and yeah, actually, I think that the next season it will not be a quite surprise if a purple car scores a World Drivers' Championship,
Maybe
beating
so.
the Red Demons.
We'll have to wait and see. Kuba, I'd love to just get your closing words on this. Team seems to be
And
doing quite a
also,
lot better since you sold it.
I kind of
Go!
put up a chance for the all-time best result of mine, but I'll get it. I'll get to that.
I'm sure you will, man. Kuba, anything to say?
I love the Neon Sunset. Figo and Matty, absolutely incredible people, incredible drivers. And today, Figo with his first ever win for Neon Sunset as a whole. Matty with top
Wow.
10. I'm not sure if this is um, their first ever double top 10, but it's one of their only double top 10s. And to top it off with a win is an incredible performance.
It's amazing.
Um,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how they keep on improving. And CL, it was incredible in CL as well. Both of them with 1-2s. They actually got maximum possible points in CL today. Um, yeah, it's just shocking how well they did today. And I'm glad to be there and support them for the rest of their careers.
Yes, the Neon Sunset Ricard franchise definitely looks like the winners of the day. Massive congratulations. And on that happy bombshell, I think we'll end it off there. Thank you so much for watching this. One of the, in my opinion, best races in Ultimate League ever. Definitely one of the best finishes. And through goes Figo. Absolutely. They truly found an 11th gear out there today. We'll be back next week for a night race at the Bugatti circuit. No rain in that one, so remember, no need to bring your brollies for that. But do bring some torches. That will be all. Thanks very much. See you next time.